In the beginning of the story, we see a devastated world. The entire land is barren, except for a region in Australia known as the green place of many mothers, where there is still water. This area is home to many women who grow fruits through farming. A girl named Furiosa is picking ripe fruit when she hears a noise. Investigating, she discovers several bikers. She cuts the oil pipe of one bike, but before she can do the same to another, she is spotted. As the biker moves to catch her, Furiosa stabs her own leg and escapes, whistling loudly to alert the others to the danger. As she runs, a biker catches her by throwing a rope, and they capture her. Meanwhile, Furiosa's mother and other warriors pursue the bikers on horseback to rescue her. Furiosa's mother strangles a biker and takes his bike. Before she sets off to save Furiosa, the people of the green place give her some seeds and remind her that no one must know about their area, and that those who have seen it must not survive. Armed with this knowledge, she advances and shoots a biker. Two bikers head stop to investigate, and upon seeing Furiosa's mother approaching, they flee. Furiosa manages to cut the oil pipe of the bike she's tied to, and her mother repairs her bike using parts from the dead biker's bike, refueling it and continuing the chase. By evening, the biker's bike runs out of fuel due to the cut pipe, leading to a fight between them. Seizing the opportunity, Furiosa frees herself, but is soon recaptured and taken back to the biker's camp. The next morning, Furiosa's mother reaches the camp and sees the bikers and Furiosa. She shoots and kills one of the bikers. But the other bike safely reaches his camp with Furiosa and announces that he has discovered the green place, a location rich with resources and women. Realizing the impending danger to her community, Furiosa acts quickly. She cleverly puts a rope around the biker's neck and kills him by pushing him off his bike in front of everyone. Furiosa and her mother then eliminate all the bikers who knew the location of the green place. The remaining bikers take Furiosa to their leader, believing she can guide them to the green place. The leader, a cunning man, treats Furiosa well and instructs his followers to do the same, hoping to extract the location from her. That night, Furiosa's mother infiltrates the camp, disguised in the dead biker's clothes. She searches every intent, shooting anyone who isn't Furiosa. Eventually, she finds Furiosa. As they prepare to leave, they encounter a girl who pleads for her life, claiming to be a fellow prisoner. Moved by this, Furiosa's mother spares her and escapes with Furiosa on her bike. However, the spared girl betrays them, sounding an alarm that summons many girls. They are attacked with bombs from a distance, setting Furiosa's mother's clothes on fire. She removes her burning armor and continues their escape, but the bikers remain in close pursuit. Realizing they can't outrun their attackers, Furiosa's mother sacrifices herself. She gives Furiosa the bike and a peach seed, instructing her to return home and plant it. Furiosa's mother stays behind to hold off the bikers, fighting valiantly but ultimately getting surrounded and captured. Furiosa is also captured and witnesses the bikers mercilessly kill her mother, who is tied to a tree. Afterward, the leader of the bikers puts Furiosa in a cage dressed in clothes like his and forces her to watch everything he considers entertainment. He gives Furiosa his daughter's teddy bear, which she drops in defiance. Enraged, the leader orders her to leave. An old man accompanies her, suggesting that if she learns to read and write, she could become useful to their leader and avoid torture. However, Furiosa refuses to listen. Secretly, she tattoos a map from their current location to the green place on her arm, hoping to return one day and fearing she might forget the way. Time passes, and one day the bikers see red smoke in the distance, indicating possible habitation. They follow the smoke and find a war boy who leads them to the citadel, ruled by Immortan Joe. Joe controls water and food, distributing them to his loyal soldiers who are willing to die for him. The resource-deprived bikers demand cooperation from Joe, threatening to fight if he refuses. Mocking them, Immortan Joe orders one of his warriors to die to demonstrate the loyalty and willingness of his army. His soldiers lift the bikers' bikes with chains, leaving the bikers no choice but to flee. During the escape, the leader of the bikers sees Furiosa trapped in a pit after falling out of her cage. He risks his life to save her, and they escape together. Along the way, they come across Gastown, where oil is refined to power Immortan Joe's weapons and vehicles. The leader of the bikers plans to take over Gastown to blackmail Joe with control of the oil. However, the security is tight. To deceive them, he disguises many of his people as water boys and approaches the gate of Gastown. When the gatekeepers refuse to let them in, the leader kills some of his own men to convince them that he has captured Immortan Joe's fort and enslaved his people. Seeing this, the people of Gastown open the door to Dementis and his men. After taking over Gastown, Dementis cuts off the fingers of the town's leader and sends them to Immortan Joe. Recognizing that Dementis is gaining power due to his control over the oil, Immortan Joe proposes a meeting. Dementis, needing basic supplies that Immortan Joe possesses, agrees to the meeting, bringing the leader of Gastown along. The leader, who is also Immortan Joe's sickly brother, relies on machines to sustain his bodily functions. To provoke Immortan Joe, Dementis tortures and kills his brother using these machines. Dementis then threatens Immortan Joe, claiming he has planted bombs throughout Gastown and only he knows how to activate or disable them. He demands to be made the leader of Gastown, or else the town will be destroyed. During their conversation, Immortan Joe's attention shifts to Furiosa. Immortan Joe agrees to the deal, but insists on taking Furiosa and a biker in return. Furiosa speaks out, revealing that she is not Dementis' daughter, and that Dementis killed her mother and kidnapped her. Angered, Dementis takes his daughter's toy from her hand, gives it to Immortan Joe, and leaves. Furiosa is taken to Immortan Joe's harem, where many of his wives live. Although the women treat her kindly, Furiosa is focused on how Immortan Joe forces them to stay with him. She witnesses Immortan Joe's obsession with having a healthy son, even ordering his newborn daughter to be buried alive. Despite having many sons, none meet his standards of health, and they are kept as war boys. Immortan Joe hopes one day to have a healthy son to rule the Citadel. Immortan Joe's son notices Furiosa and tries to assault her, but she escapes. To prevent future attacks, Furiosa shaves her head and makes a wig from netting and wax, preparing herself for the challenges ahead. At this time, Furiosa still had the PC given to her by her mother, kept safe all these years. The next time Immortan Joe's son tried to bother her and grabbed her hair, Furiosa left her wig in his hands and escaped. The boy, frustrated, ran after her but encountered his brother, who asked what he was doing. Unable to answer and fearful of his father's punishment, he discarded Furiosa's wig. Furiosa, now dressed as a boy, evaded capture and preserved her dignity, securing a job at the Citadel. Due to her agility, she was assigned to fit chains inside Immortan Joe's large machines. 10 years passed, and Furiosa grew up, still disguised as a boy. No one suspected her true identity as she pretended to be mute and adhered to all of Immortan Joe's rituals, proving her loyalty. One day, Immortan Joe assigned her the task of creating a powerful drill capable of massive destruction. Successfully building the machine, it was attached to a truck for a test drive. During this test, Dementis attacked, using parachutes and bombs against the war boys. Jack, the truck's driver, continued driving despite the assault. Dementis' attacks caused significant damage to the truck. Furiosa bravely went under the truck to fix the fault, but a man from Dementis also crawled under to plant a bomb. Furiosa fought and killed him, successfully removing the bomb and repairing the truck. As the battle continued, Dementis' men killed warboys outside the truck. When a warboy crashed a small truck into the test truck, it jolted Furiosa, causing her hat to fall off and revealing her hair. Jack realized Furiosa was a girl, but the battle took precedence. Furiosa fought fiercely, killing her enemies and ensuring the truck's escape. After the battle, she held Jack at gunpoint, fearing he would be a problem. However, Jack acknowledged her prowess, saying, "You are a good warrior and I don't care about your gen. We have been given the task of controlling this rig, and I want you to support me like a team member," Jack said to Furiosa. She agreed, and together they drove the rig truck to Gastown. Dementis, who had not seen Furiosa in years and did not recognize her now that she was older, was there. It was discovered that Dementis had run out of oil supplies and was exchanging other supplies with Immortan Joe for oil. Dementis asked Jack to arrange a meeting with Immortan Joe. Jack agreed, but Immortan Joe refused to provide any supplies without oil, prompting the bikers to attack and start stealing all the food. In the chaos, Furiosa drove the truck away while Jack defended it from attackers. They safely reached the Citadel and sent a message to Immortan Joe to meet with Dementis. During the fight, Furiosa had been shot by an arrow. Jack pulled it out and stitched her wound, bringing them closer. Jack asked about her parents, and Furiosa revealed that the bikers had kidnapped her and brought her to the Citadel. She showed Jack the peach seed her mother had given her and a map of the green place tattooed on her hand. She still hoped to go there one day. Jack promised to try to take her to the green place, and Furiosa invited him to come with her. They received a message from Immortan Joe about a meeting with Dementis and were instructed to follow with their army. Jack assigned Furiosa to drive a truck, planning to use it to reach the green place. As they approached Gastown, Jack and Furiosa devised a plan. A truck entered Gastown first, while Furiosa waited for Jack, who released a signal of green smoke, instead of joining her, indicating he was calling in the war warriors for a battle. Furious, Furiosa decided to move ahead alone, but soon reconsidered. She couldn't leave Jack to fight alone and returned to Gastown to help him. Armed with a sniper, she started shooting at the enemies, even wounding Dementis. Jack broke through the gate of Gastown with his rig and began destroying the structure with the drill attached to it. The bikers attacked to stop him, causing the rig to break and Jack to fall into a pit. Despite the chaos and danger, Furiosa's determination to help Jack and reach the green place remained strong. At the right moment, Furiosa arrived, rescuing Jack by lowering a chair from a bike. They quickly got into another truck and fled, intending to head to the green place. However, Dementis was in pursuit. As Dementis' truck approached, Furiosa aimed her gun to attack, but her hand, which bore the map, got caught between the two trucks. They were captured and made slaves by Dementis. Suddenly, the bikes around them started moving. Jack was tied to a bike and spun in circles, edging closer to death with each passing second, while Furiosa was chained up. Dementis watched, entertained. Eventually bored, he turned his attention back to Furiosa, who had managed to escape by severing her injured arm. Furious, Dementis chased her, but found his truck disabled by Furiosa's sabotage, leading to an accident. Furiosa's bike ran out of fuel a little farther on, forcing her to continue on foot. Her arm was bleeding, and the scorching sun caused her to faint. Luckily, a warrior from the Citadel found her and took her back. She was treated and, upon regaining consciousness, requested a meeting with Immortan Joe. She warned him that Dementis planned to attack the Citadel and destroy Gastown. Immortan Joe decided to preemptively strike Gastown. They set out, and as they neared Gastown, Dementis announced the war. The battle between the Citadel and Gastown lasted a week, with both sides suffering heavy losses. During the conflict, Furiosa returned to the Citadel, crafted in a mechanical arm, and took a rugged car back to the battlefield. Upon arrival, she saw Immortan Joe's sons repairing their vehicles and weapons. She seized a tire to fix her car, determined to continue the fight. As Furiosa advanced, she spotted Dementis and a few of his remaining followers fleeing for their lives. They noticed Furiosa's car and prepared to attack, but she acted first. Furiosa accelerated, striking them with her car and burying them in the sand, killing everyone except Dementis, who was nowhere to be seen. In the distance, she saw a biker fleeing. It was Dementis. His bike was broken, and Furiosa quickly caught up to him. Although she could have killed him with a single shot, she wanted him to remember who she was and why she sought vengeance. She tortured him until he fainted. When Dementis regained consciousness, Furiosa revealed herself as the girl he had kidnapped 15 years ago, the one who watched him kill her mother. Dementis still couldn't recognize her, so Furiosa cut off the teddy bear chained to him. Now he knew who she was. Desperately, Dementis apologized and proposed they rule together, praising her bravery. Furiosa dropped the teddy bear to the ground and aimed a gun at his head. Everyone thought she would kill him, but instead she buried him alive and planted her mother's peach seed over his grave. As the ground absorbed Dementis' nutrients, a massive tree grew, bearing peaches. Dementis witnessed this transformation as his final moments approached. The scene shifted. Furiosa, using her rig, managed to rescue all of Immortan Joe's wives from captivity. She led them to the Green Place, fulfilling her promise and ensuring their safety. The story concluded with Furiosa standing in the Green Place, having avenged her mother and secured a new beginning for herself and the others.